Hello, how you guys doing? It's me again, here to make another video, and today I'm gonna talk about an old movie, a classic. It's Peter Pan, and the movie Hook, the sequel. Because I've seen, as a guy I follow, his name is Jordan Peterson, and he made a terrific analysis of the movie Peter Pan. He's a psychologist, and he talks about like um, Jungian psychology, and he talks a lot about the archetypes and the hero's journey that are sort of this structure of the narrative in almost every single story. And what he talked about Peter Pan, for me, it struck a chord with me, because he said that if you think about it, Peter Pan is, he says that the word pan means everything. So he has the potential to be anything. Like, every child when they're born, they have the potential to become anything, because they have the time to develop in every way they choose to. But it's in the process of growing up in which we trade the potential for everything for the becoming something specific, because you have the potential to be anything, but you can't become everything. You can't be a musician and a doctor and a lawyer and an architect and an astronaut. Right? You can't do everything. So you have to, at some stage in your life, you have to begin trading the potential of everything for the to acquire specific things. And what he describes as is that Peter Pan is like the person who refuses to give his potential in exchange of getting something in return that is smaller, but it's tangible. So the whole thing where Peter Pan lives in Neverland, and it's a place where he doesn't grow, refers to this, to the people who are not willing to make the transfer. And part of the transfer is growing up. And what happened to Peter Pan, or the people who choose not to make this transfer, is that he became the leader of the Lost Boys, right? And that pretty much says it all. Like, it's not a good thing, right? And he's always fighting Captain Hook, and Captain Hook it's an old guy, older than Peter Pan. He's an adult, and he's very resentful, and he's constantly being chased by this alligator. And the alligator, has because it's 12 o'clock, has the ticking clock. So it's like constantly being chased by time, and he's very resentful and bitter, and he's growing old and he's afraid of time. And time already took a hand, and now he has a hook. So it's like he's already beginning to lose himself, parts of himself to time, which will eventually will take all of him. And I think that is very, very insightful. I think that's one of the reasons why that story has stuck with us for so long, because it's a pretty old story, but it's still true. If you think about it, those people who refuse to grow up because they didn't want to give their potential for anything, they end up turning into Captain Hook, and they end up old without accomplishing anything, because they never set out for anything, because doing anything would mean not doing all the other things that they could do, and because they couldn't choose one and let the others go, they did none, and now they're old, bitter, and resentful. And I have to say, I've experienced that. I think in one point in my life, that was happening to me and happening to people around me, and I saw it firsthand. And it's not good. It's really not good, because you can get stuck there. And I know some people that still there, and the more time you're there, the harder it is to break out of it. And you just get more resentful, and you start blaming other things, and it's very hard to take a step back, assess yourself, and then try to bring some steps forward out of it. I think that's why I think the analysis of the movie, Peter Pan movie, makes more sense also if you analyze it with the sequel, with Captain Hook. Because in the first movie, there's also the ingredient of Wendy. Wendy is, Peter Pan falls in love with Wendy, but in order to be with Wendy, he has to grow up. And he can't. He doesn't do it. And in Neverland, his companion is Tinkerbell, which is a fairy, which Jordan Peterson says that he explained that this fairy is like the ideal, is Peter Pan's ideal of women. So it's like how women are in his head, but it's an ideal, so it's not real. Because another aspect of growing up is when you meet a girl that you get these feelings of love towards, you have to give up your ideal of women in order to establish a relationship with an actual one. That is not ideal, but that is real. And Peter Pan also can't make this trade. He decided to stay in Neverland and lets Wendy go. Now, it's a pretty tragic story. If you if you think it all the way through, it seems like Peter Pan is not it's not really a hero. It's more like a cautionary tale. Like you shouldn't be like Peter Pan almost. And I think this is very insightful. Very insightful. I think we don't do a very good job in guiding people when they're growing up. I know I was very confused and lost, and it took me a long time to find my path and get on my way. I'm very happy that I did now. I'm still trying to work my way through it. But yeah, I think this whole archetype of Peter Pan, which I don't know if I portrayed accurately, if you understood what I was trying to say. But you know, that's the point of these videos. I need to try to explain stuff to get better at it, and so I can understand it better myself, get everything organized. But yeah, I know that definitely at one point I was very resentful and bitter, and yeah, once I read this, I understood that it was describing what happened to me and some of my friends and some of the people I know, and it's very tragic when it's happening. It's hard. It's a pattern that's hard to break, and yeah, it's especially hard if the change doesn't come from within. I remember when I was in it, there was some people that were trying to help me break it, but because the change wasn't coming from within, all outside efforts were not successful. It was until I made the choice that the change actually happened. And even making the choice is the first part, because then there's, you know, it's like a boat. If you want to turn, you can move the steer wheel, but it'll start shifting very slowly, and it's not gonna be for a while until you actually see the boat turning into a new direction. So the story of Peter Pan continues in the sequel, but unfortunately this video is too long already, so I'm gonna do that second part tomorrow. And yeah, I actually seen the movie some days ago after I read this whole analysis of Peter Pan. So I was watching the movie and I was like, oh my god, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm very tired today. I had a very long day. Tomorrow is Thursday. That's usually my longest day. So I need to rest. So I'm very tired. See you tomorrow. Have a great day.